It's a season 3 of Framed finale, and today we're heading in an airplane. I'm scared to death. I'm flying it today. I'm scared. Let's go. Frame season finale Whiskey Tango. Roger that.
Boise clearance Cherokee 6817 Juliet VFR Nampa Foxtrot.
Nobody panic. I've got this under control.
You're under control.
Nobody panic.
You're doing well.
You ever heard of Framed?
You know, I have. I just recently have heard of it in about the last 6 months or so, and I've watched some episodes, and I've been really impressed. It's a really cool show. I really like it a lot.
So you know where we're going today, right?
I don't actually.
Well, there's a photographer that we're going to take some footage of who's given everything he has to his passion. He's actually turned his whole truck into the world's largest wet plate camera.
Wow, that sounds really cool. I'm really excited to see that then.
It's amazing. I'm inspired by him. So talk about someone living his passion.
All right, push those down just a titch for me.
Okay.
Just a little bit. Good. Easy cheesy, right?
Easy cheesy.
Easy cheesy, right?
In the back, you might experience a little turbulence coming up here.
U-17 Juliet, left downwind, 29er Nampa. Roll. Alright, so we're coming into landing here. You can see the runway there in front of us.
I see it.
Good.
Straight away, Roger.
Roger.
The ground is coming at a ridiculously fast speed.
Oh, not at all.
Oh boy.
Now we go right above the ground. We start pulling those back just a little bit, right over the runway.
Oh boy.
So pull back a little more right there.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
And just like that, we're down.
And we're down. We made it! This is the coolest job in the world.
See? Since a career change coming up?
I know. I quit.
I quit.
I mean, freaking pilot.
I'm so far down the path that I can't go back even if I wanted to. Life grants us a series of opportunities, and those opportunities come with a price. I can't stop. I've backed myself into a corner. There isn't a backup plan. You know, you're playing poker and you go all in, you're all in, and we're just waiting to see how the cards unfold. I'm standing there in the dark, and I open the lens and the room slowly fills with light. I see the most beautiful image appear right before me. It's hard to imagine I'm standing in the middle of a giant camera. When I started in photography, I was using my hands to create images, and it seemed like overnight digital came and all of that came to an end. I didn't know it at the time, but I lost something I loved. In the absence of that feeling, it sent me on a tremendous journey. It took me back to the beginning of photography. I just got tired of it, you know? It's like everyone around me had the same cameras, they all have the same signature. I was like, I'm gonna go out and build a camera that no one has. This project isn't about making actual images. It's not about creating the world's largest camera. It's about doing what you love. If you had been searching your whole life for something you love and you found it, what would you be willing to sacrifice?
Well, Ian, you are crazy, and I love you for that. What you are doing with, downstairs there's a camera, but it happens to be 500 tons, right? It's huge.
Sure. Yeah, it's
something
huge.
like
yeah,
that.
It's just big.
And you're crazy, and you are inspiring, and what are you doing? What is happening?
I'm just doing what's in my heart, and that seems to be inspiring people, and I like hearing that the most, that I'm inspired. I don't really care if people are, ooh, your process is neat, or you're doing something no one's done. I just like inspiring people.
Definitely. So what inspires you?
Oh, I don't know if, you know what inspires me is the people we meet from this project. So I've met your whole crew, and people have came up and they're like, oh, I like what you're doing. I'm like, oh, I like what you're doing. And I met you, and you're really nice, and it's bringing us all together, and that's really neat.
Awesome.
It's not like we're just coming through and we're like, oh, we're gonna click some photos and set up a lot of lights and this and move through town. We have to set up, we have to talk to you. It's gonna take hours, and we're gonna get to know people, and I really like that. Everywhere we go, the only way we're going places right now is because people are helping us, and you guys are helping us. And
I want to know the story. I've been holding off all of these questions. I'm dying to know, where did this start? When rewind me? Was it 2 years ago? Was it when you first picked up the camera? What happened?
Photography is different for me. It's when I grew up, I was really dyslexic, and I couldn't like write out my thoughts or read really good, and people looked at me and they're like, oh, maybe I'm not the smartest, or I felt like that. I don't think they really did, but when I picked up a camera, I'm like, boom, this is what I'm thinking, and it's an emotion or a feeling. So photography to me is really, it's part of me. It's not just something I do. So it's how I communicate, and that was cool. And then I started working and becoming a professional photographer, and I had all these clients, and my voice started becoming their voice, and they're twisting it up. It's like someone twisting up your words, and I'm in a compromising position where I'm like, oh, I got money, and now I'm doing a job, but this thing that I loved isn't my voice anymore. It's someone else's voice. And so I was searching for, okay, how am I gonna do this again? And I started looking for some film that I used, and it wasn't there anymore. And so I'm like, I'm gonna have to make my own film, and that took me all the way back to the beginning of photography, to the 1800s.
Wow.
And I was like, oh, I can make my own film? Okay. And then I started doing that, and that started this whole project. The first pictures I took, I just learned it off the internet, and I ordered all these chemicals and this, and I'm in my loft in LA, and we're mixing it up. Me and my friends were like, oh, is it gonna work? And we made little 4x5 plate. And then at that moment, I knew. I was like, this is what I've been looking for, like my whole life. I knew it. And I wanted to show everyone, so I took this original thing, put it in a flatbed scanner, and scanned it, turned it into a digital file, and I'm like, oh no. Now I'm back there, and I lost the original piece. And I just thought for a long time, and I had these big windows where I lived, and look out the windows, and they framed up the city like Los Angeles perfect. And one day I'm just like, I'm gonna make a picture, an original that big. And then it started this thing that it pretty much changed my life.
I'm knocking at the door, they won't let me in. I wanna give up before I begin. My patience are wearing thin. Another hopeful world is caving in. Well, it's more than I can take. And soon they'll know your face. Raise your flag, shout it out, let them know what you're about. You'll see. It's amazing.
I'm not a mechanic. I can't build things. I'm not even good at Legos. How did you, first, where did you find that massive lens? Where did you think, I'm going to put it in a truck? Why a truck? You know, tell me about your thought process.
The lens is the most interesting part. I mean, because the lens is the camera. The space around it isn't as important, but that lens, it took me a month to research if there was a lens that would cover that much area, and I could see people were looking for them, and they're really rare, and one hadn't sold for, you know, probably 6 years was what I read. And when I figured out I need this lens, within a month, one came on eBay, and I bid and I got it. And that, because I had doubts, I'm like, I'm not an engineer, I'm not a chemist, I'm not a scientist, I don't even know if I'm that good of a photographer or anything. But when I found that lens, it told me, okay, this is supposed to happen. And I took that as a sign that it was like part of my destiny. Why would the universe, or I don't want to be too hippie, but why would I acquire this, the most crucial piece, when other people couldn't, if I wasn't supposed to do this? Mm-hmm. I hide a lot of things, and they'll come out in my photos if you look, and there's pieces of the things I feel like. We just shot a kid in Los Angeles, and he was born with birth defects, and he doesn't have hands, or he's missing a leg as well. And to me, I feel that sometimes. I feel like I'm missing part of myself. I had like 9 deaths in 5 years, and you know, there's days you feel like, oh, I'm missing part of me, or I might as well have been in a wheelchair. I couldn't even get up out of bed some days. And I look at my friend Oscar, and he gets up every day, and he's like, screw you, I'm gonna go do this and that. And that's one reason why I shot him. And they probably won't ever know that, but that's from inside my heart, and that's how I work. Every day I don't know what's next. I know what I want to do, and there's no question in that, but I don't know how I'm going to do it. So every day we wake up and we just try. We make a plan and we try to do it. And then someone will call, like you guys called, we're in Idaho, do you want to come up and film a piece with us? Oh yeah. So that's how we work right now. Every day we just see what happens.
Well, it's a positive thing to do. You gotta reach deep inside of you. What you can to break on through. I'm pointing out the things you have to do. And I build you up so high. Don't give up, don't give in, and maybe one day you win. Closing out of the frame, get yourself back in the game. Keep it up in the race, and then soon they'll know your face. Raise your flag, shout it out, let them know what you're about. You'll see. It's me.
What is it that you're going to do today?
Well, we're going to photograph this gentleman. His name's Barr, and he has an extensive background in flying, and he was in the Korean War. And it's just tons of story, and we're really about America, and that's America. I mean, if you don't get that, then whatever. But so, and I feel really honored to work with him. And, and we're going to do that, and then we're also going to video him, or we're going to let him tell what he's about in this, and that will accompany this other piece. And and then we'll take his story and contrast it with someone else, and no one's right, no one's wrong, but it's really cool to see the opinions. And that's the beautiful thing about America, is we all live in this place, and I don't think we always get along or agree, but we all live here. And when things happen, I remember in 9/11, you'd think like New York people would be like, oh, get out of my way, and this, it's such a city, but I remember everyone came together, and there's people helping people in that, and I think that's really what America's about.
you've been taking photos of people outside of America. I mean,
Yeah,
what
that's
about
right.
your fans that are in Norway? And
See, that's what's really interesting. It's like we say it's about America, but you know, the only people that are from America are the Indians. So everyone outside of that is an immigrant. So that means we're actually photographing the world. I'd like to shoot a photo that represents some elements of who you are, and maybe a little bit of background. Photos they can be interpreted in so many different ways, and you know, some of the things are suggestive and some are real. And with you, just from what I've heard about you, I wanted like a really strong photo, and it symbolizes you. That's how I look at you.
Okay, sure.
And you know, and your work in the military, and I guess
Ian, you get to know him. I'm gonna get out of here, but
Okay.
we're now gonna be flies on the walls, and we're gonna watch you work. So
Okay.
so thank you for letting
All
us
right,
be
well,
here.
thanks for the
Okay.
introduction.
I'm out of here.
Okay.
You guys chat.
At that time, which was in the middle 60s, unfortunately the Vietnam War was going on. Many of us really didn't have a choice on how things were going to go. The draft was going in those years, and I always wanted to be a pilot. And so I pursued that, and so that's what I did. And guess what? The Air Force and the government decided that I should do that, and so I did. So my job was to take care of the trail and get the bad guys coming down the trail, and that's what the B-52 did.
Yeah.
I subsequently got out of that and went into did 2 tours with that in the arc-like business, and then I went to an airplane called the OV-10.
See, I've never been in war or anything. When you're flying out on a mission, is it really scary?
Well, it is scary, but you know that you have to do a job. The OV-10 was a one-man operation. It was you and the airplane, and you flew in places where there were no friendly people. So you kind of wondered about that. You know, said, gee, I'm 100 miles from any place that's friendly, and if I had a problem, I'm definitely going to have it. But you don't concentrate on that. You concentrate on the job.
When you were young, when you were a kid, did you know you wanted to be a pilot?
Yes, it came to me at a very early age that's what I wanted to be. I'm not sure how it did, but I was very young, probably 5 or 6, and I decided that aviation in some way was to be my career. I never saw flying as a job. Maybe like you don't see your career as a job. I don't see it as work. I never did. Aviation was something I got paid to do. That was neat, but it was something I loved to do, whether it was in the military or it was a civilian. Either way.
Yeah, I wonder about that even for myself, because I think I'm supposed to do photography. I really think that's...
you should pursue your career, and I recommend everybody do that.
Right.
You know, I know we can't all do that, but give it a shot. You know, at least when you're older, you can say, I tried it.
I tried.
And I tried it. And rather than say, I wish I'd done that and I didn't do it.
I had a little cabin that I've always had in Lake Tahoe, and I was like, I need to go up there and finish this, and I need to cut all my expenses here. The overhead was so high, you know, rent and everything. So I was just like, I have to make a decision. And I made that decision, and it was really hard. Went to Tahoe, and then right off the bat, I met Lane, and Lane does video. And I was like, hey, do you want to work on documenting some of this process? And he's like, yeah. Then the blessing in Lane was, it's like, oh, I know how to weld. I know how to do this. So he ended up, like, I'm like, I want to build this. He's like, okay. Brings it back. Does this work? Yep. And then he just started really working on all the mechanics of it. And, you know, and then Trevor came in. He doesn't even know. He's never formally went to photography school. And I'm like, all right, let's go. And by the way, we're going to make the biggest wet plate image in the world. It's like, you know, it'd be like taking a guy that played high school football and just throw him into the NFL.
We saw your Silver and Light video that was blasted everywhere. Is that when the viral idea that you were going around, is that when it happened, or did it happen before?
It happened before. We knew we wanted to go around, but we didn't know that that video was going to explode. And we are putting it out, and there's just butterflies, because it's everyone on my crew, everyone, all 3 people, but we didn't know if people would respond to it or like it, so we had butterflies, and we didn't know, and then it went out and it just started spreading, and we're like, oh wow, what did we do?
How do you get the courage to do what you're passionate about?
It looks like from the outside I have it all figured out, but there's days when I wake up and I'm like, what am I doing? This isn't gonna work. But inside of me, I honestly believe that this is my destiny, and I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, so I'm gonna do it. It feels right. When it feels right, you just wanna keep doing it. Mm-hmm. What drives us is that just strangers are like, keep going or stay at our house, we'll feed you. And we're like, really? Okay, then we're coming, or we're gonna try, you know, and I like that.
I think today I'll probably have to do it for about 8 seconds.
Really? That's
So,
pretty good.
if he's got it in him to stand still that long.
What it is you end up connecting with the people helping you. Your hands are touching something, you're working with it, you're creating, and then the subject becomes part of the photo, and then it comes out and everyone starts rooting for it to work, and then you get an emotional attachment to this piece. It's not something that's, so it's just like, okay, click, done, see you, bye, and then you see it later. It's like everyone is physically and emotionally attached to this piece of metal with film on it.
Right here.
So just look off past there.
Okay.
And then you'll hold still for
Okay.
about 8 seconds.
8 seconds? I think I can do 8
It's
seconds.
like a rodeo.
Let me know when 8 seconds are done, though.
We'll let you know.
Now that they have that focus, they're going to start pouring the chemicals on the plates, or well, one plate. They're going to pour the chemical on. They're going to sensitize it to the film, so that's going to take about 3 minutes. They're probably going to refocus in that time, just to make sure that it's sharp right where they want it to be sharp. And then it goes through exposure. They open the lens, close the lens. It goes into a developer. It goes from the developer into a fixer to stop the developing process. And then it'll come out in a rinse, and we'll see it.
Okay, 5 seconds.
5 seconds.
Picture.
Picture.
Okay.
You're good. Good.
Woo! Yeah, Bob! Oh, it's blind! I'll help you. Oh, great.
I think people get the wrong idea. It's not that it's like I'm not rebellious against digital. It's just I had to find what works for me. I was being forced from work to shoot only in digital. Like, you are gonna do it this way, and I'm like, wait a minute now. Don't I have a say as the photographer? Then I just feel like some jerk, and they're like, go do this and that, and anyone can do your job, and and I'm like, wait a minute here. So I just set out, I'm gonna do what I want. Going back would be going back to losing my voice. And I don't want to lose that again. I want to still do jobs, but I want to have something that defines me and defines who I am, and that's what this project's about. little bit light on exposure, but it's not bad.
Ian,
What?
how the freak did you expose that right? You don't have a meter. How did you do that?
I don't know. I just guessed.
Does that happen all the time? That great of a photo?
It does. I mean, not. It does. Well, look at. We've been setting this up for 3 hours. We sat and we talked about the light, watched the clouds, like, you know. Yeah.
I still don't get how you expose it. I don't get it. My mind is blown.
And I'm not good at photography,
You're right.
but
He
I'm
sucks.
good at
He
making
sucks.
big old pieces of junk. Calling them art. That's my gimmick.
Amazing.
This as it is would be really good, but they dry down a little bit lighter. And I'm afraid, I just want to have an option.
Okay. When you're gone, when you die, what do you want people to remember you by?
I don't want them necessarily to remember me, but I want them to look at the work that we've done and be inspired to do something great in their lives. Because all the photographers from the 1800s, when I started reading about them, okay, they're pioneers. They're out in the middle of nowhere with the wagon. They're doing the same style of photography as I am. And they're, you know, all the struggles and challenges, and it was this new thing, and that inspired me. They inspired me. And if I can inspire someone else to do something great and follow their dreams or get something out of life that they might not have thought was possible, well then I'd feel good about myself.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's not possible to do things without the help of other people, and you know, and people have just really helped a lot. Someone just says, go for it, or I like this photo. I'm like, okay, well, I like you too, and I'm gonna go for it. So, you know, that helps. And I would just tell someone to try. But that's the hardest thing for me to do, is try. To wake up every day. Some days you get knocked down, and to get up, that's where you have the courage. And that's the only advice. I mean, that's what works for me, is I just try, and I might fail and I might lose. I probably lose a lot more than I win, but as long as I try, then at least I'm giving it what I, you know, everything I have.
Season 3, but guess what, guys? It might be the end of season 3, but our adventure is just beginning.
My name is Jeremy Cowart.
My name is Claudia Cunin.
We're Travis and Gene Smith.
I'm Brian.
And I'm Brandon.
And we're the Brothers Wright.
My name is Grace Chong.
My name is Stephen Taylor.
I'm Pratik Naik.
My name is Lindsay Adler.
Well, I am Zach.
And I am Jody, this man's wife.
And we are the Grays.
My name is Aaron Nace.
My name is Jennifer Hudson.
I'm Alex Stoddard.
My name is Ryan Brenizer.
I'm Angie Monson. We just been framed!
Oh, I'm Ian Ruhter, and I just been framed, but in a good way.
Framed Season 3 was brought to you by B&H Photo Lab. Like the music? Special thanks to Triple Scoop Music. Frame Network giveaways are brought to you by B&H. Head to giveaways.framenetwork.com for your chance to win. Find out more about the equipment used in this episode on framenetwork.com.